Yo, now on my way to see Graham Blackburn on the Naked Football Show. Hopefully get some good points in tonight, and let's talk about what matters about ITFC. Come on.
Welcome, my lovelies, welcome to the Naked Football Show. My guest today is Ashley Simmons of the Ipswich Fanzone. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure, and we actually met in the green room. We actually really had a green room today. I'll tell you more later. Ashley, if you want to quickly publicise your own Twitter arty feed and everything.
Yeah, so I started on Twitter about 5 years ago. IpswichFanzone at IpswichFanzone if you want to follow. Basically, what I do is like to share news, views, up to date kind of stuff. Talk about things that everyone are talking about at the moment, and just recently I've started a YouTube channel, and I'm enjoying it, to be honest, because obviously new season, new era, new challenge.
Absolutely, I looked at it the other day actually, because as you were on the show, it's very good. Happy chappy, weren't you? Because the town.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I do love a win, but it's been a long wait. It's been a long wait, to be honest.
So what do you think of it? What do you make of it? Just before we get into the nitty gritty of the goings on at the town, or lack of, what do you make of Saturday?
Oh, difficult one, because obviously taking into consideration what has happened so far this season, we needed 3 points on Saturday, and thankfully we did actually get those 3 points. Whether or not we deserved those 3 points in the end, that's another question, in my opinion.
But how many times have we deserved them and not got them? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could have had a few 3 points this season, but not shown up. So
yeah. So and the season so far as a whole, what have you made of it? Because I mean, there's rumour and counter rumour, and strangely enough, this week they seem to have stopped all of a sudden after one win.
Everyone takes a break.
Yeah.
Everyone takes a break at the international break. Yeah. To be honest, this season the club have got me back on board. Over the last few years, I haven't been able to get to football as much. I used to be a season ticket holder, had been for 11 years, up until the birth of my daughter, and then we decided, money could be spent elsewhere, and obviously that gives me a challenge as a person. You've got to spend money in the right places.
You believe you put your daughter first.
I love her to pieces, but yeah, you have to sometimes, and I made the right decision. 2 years away, probably the best 2 years not to go to football.
Absolutely.
And in my opinion, Mick was a good manager. He'd done some good things for us. He saved us from relegation. But to be honest, in my opinion, the problem that we had 5 years ago is the same problem that we have now. If we don't make any changes or any plans for the future, we could find ourselves in trouble, and that could include relegation. And you look at teams such as Coventry, we could be one of them if we don't count our chickens. So this season, basically, you bring in Paul Hurst. We waited quite a while for our new manager, if you remember, and
pretty obvious who he had in mind, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
On.
Take out all the candidates, he was the only one left, really, to be honest. I mean, was it Jack Ross as well? We went to Sunderland. You take all of those out, and Paul Hurst, and you could see why he wanted him. I was in Greece with my girlfriend at the time. We watched the playoff final, and they were unlucky not to. Unlucky not to win, but you see what kind of manager he was, and they started rightly in that game. And I do like the kind of ethos that he's got going forward, and him as a manager, he's exactly what we need, and he's in the same ilk of a young English manager with something to prove, and that's what we need at the club. We need someone who's going to make a change, and he's got to take the criticism. We haven't started rightly this season, but I can see where he's going with this club. I can see where he's going with the club, and to be honest, a lot of people bemoan that we're buying players from League One, League Two. They're the kind of players that you need, the hungry players in this league, and there's a lot of success stories from the lower leagues in this division, and I think we need to invest in that. And whether we like it or not, like I was saying to you earlier, we are going to be a feeder club if players do come through and we do get in a good position. Those players are going to be sought after by top clubs, Premier League clubs, whether it be other Championship clubs, and we have to put up with that until we can actually show that we're going to do something with the club and the players and the staff that we've got, and not rely on spending money all the time, because we haven't got the money. It's obvious, and the owner's made, he's made that evidently clear. It's been over a decade now. He would have invested a long time ago if he was. That may be a different, conversation in itself, but I don't know really. Yeah, to be honest, I'm happy with the 3 points on Saturday, but obviously so far this season we've not really had much to celebrate.
No, my only disappointment, and again we had this in the conversation in the green room, or more brown room really, wasn't it? One of the first things that Paul Hurst said, which we thought, well, that's good, because McCarthy didn't seem to stick to that ethos, was we'll have round pegs in round holes, etc. And yet you look at that back four on Saturday, and I bring this up for not just because it worried me and it obviously worried you, but then I said I'd mention Terry, who mentioned it in some shop in town, which I can't remember anyway, and he said mention that because I thought it was ridiculous having a right back playing at left back, and Pennington, who's a centre half, playing at right back, and you've got Chambers, who's a right central defender, playing left central defender. So but you've already said you weren't happy with that either.
No, when the squad come out on Saturday, it's been a lot of chop and change recently, whether it be because of suspension or because of favouritism, or this player should play here, this player should play there. Obviously we've brought in players on loan, Pennington being one of those players. He started his time at Town quite well, despite the fact that we haven't been getting results. Now, being getting results can only be put down as not getting wins, because we've done well to draw with some teams, so we have to take positives from that. But Pennington came in at right back against Birmingham, if you remember, and he did get a goal. Now, whether that that was lucky or not is another question. And 2-0 up at half time, we threw the game away. Arguably he's got some kind of
I mean, again, I know he has played like that before.
Yeah.
It just
but
seems
for me, Danasian has been, apart from Graham Edwards, our standout player this season, and I think you could throw Chalabar in there.
Well, Chalabar in the last few games.
At third, I'd say Edwards, Danasian, and then Chalabar. But Chalabar stepped up in the last few games, and I'm disappointed in the sense that Danasian's been left to left on the bench
a few
too many times.
Back as well, which is
I know a lot of people would argue that Knudsen or Chambers would have been dropped at the weekend. Knudsen came out, and to be honest, Danasian got injured. He had to come off at half time, was it? Yeah, and Knudsen came back on, and to be honest, he obviously done a good job because we got the win in the end. But
we did, although apparently Pennington still didn't have the greatest of games.
No.
Actually, or was it Pennington? Oh, I can't remember. It doesn't really.
Who knows? Who knows? To be honest.
Who knows the secret of the black magic box? And if you know what I'm talking about, that shows how old you are. Looking at tweets and emails. This is from Julian. Hello, Julian, darling.
Is that Jules Hughes? Is it?
Jules Hughes, yeah. Do you know him?
I do know him.
He knows everyone, doesn't he?
He does.
Question for Ash. Oh, you must know him. He's calling you Ash.
Yeah, he knows my dad.
Oh, really?
Shout out to Jules, because he's probably listening.
Hello, Jules. Hello, Dad. You know Ash, do you? I call him A. If Swansea had taken most of their chances, would her still be in a job? And do you think this could be a catalyst for that's a big word for you, Jules, catalyst for a brighter future after the Swans games? After the Swans game, cheers, Jules.
Would Hurst have lost his job? In my opinion, no. I think the club have made their decision to stick with the manager. I think the club have decided that they're not going to spend copious amounts of money when it comes to getting the right player in, but they have bought well this summer. What we do with that squad, and evidently we are going to make signings in January. It looks quite clear, but
where'd you get that from?
well, to be honest, we're missing 2 or 3 players. Let's put it that way.
Well, we are.
And
we have a few to come back.
If we have a few to come back, and like we said earlier, midfield, we've got a lot of players in that area. you probably look to bring in one, you know, defender and one striker at least, I'd say. But yeah, could it be the catalyst to, you know, for the season? Yeah, I think it can.
Yeah.
We needed that, and obviously the confidence was being knocked, and the ability to push forward was, you know, being held back by not getting that first win, and we could have won plenty of times so far this season. So to go and get it away from home and in Swansea's back garden, do you know what I mean? They've come down from the Premier League. They've bought really well in the summer, and Chelina was one of those signings. We all know how good he was, and we would have wanted him on our books. So those chances they had numerous chances to bury us, but thankfully they didn't. And let's forget about Swansea. Let's just see it as 3 points now and move on, because that's what we need to do. We're in my opinion, still in a relegation dogfight, and we will be for the rest of the season.
Very sensible words there, young man. This is for Ian. You can find Ian on @ITFC Clan on Twitter. Ian's a Lowestoft boy, like myself. Lowestoft boy. Hopefully turned the corner, never lost faith, promotion next term. Could see what he was trying to do earlier in the season, but as panic set in and the search for a win went on, it all got a bit messy. I agree, actually, because, yeah,
He's got a hell of a point there, you know.
He has, because I think we've said this.
That first season, get that out of the way, and I'll tell you what, you could have a hell of a squad there.
You could, but I just wish he hadn't panicked early on when we weren't getting results, and then bringing in, you know, like we said in the green room, Walters.
Yeah.
Why?
That was a panic loan.
It was, yeah. Get Donatian in at right back. Well, you just said that.
Yeah.
Decide 2 centre backs. Yeah.
100%.
Preferably on their right or left foot, whichever.
Yeah.
And let's push on. Dirty Leeds, we're coming for you. There you go. Cheers.
My dad's a Leeds fan. So.
Yeah, we've got a Leeds fan.
They never do well at Portman Road. That's the. We always go together.
Yeah, they don't.
No, and we always win. But obviously at their place, we've been up a few times and never got a result there. So. Yeah. Fingers crossed we can.
Right, email from Slower Ball. Good evening, EBGB. Good evening, Simo.
He's obviously going off TWTD for some
reason. Sorry, I've got some coffee thing. It's also given me toothache, so if anyone knows a cure for toothache. What do you mean alcohol? Okay then. Is it just me, or do any other Tan fans, when they hear the name Shalabar, think Shalimar? Oh, Shabba. that wasn't mine either, someone else came up with that. I know I do. Well, that elusive first win finally came at Swansea, and Town certainly made me feel good, taking 3 points to the bank, with the resulting celebrations making it a night to remember. Every credit to those fans who travelled to the stadium, to the Liberty Stadium here. Interesting that Hurst dropped Knudsen, albeit he had to come on as sub. Perhaps Mr. Hurst listens to the show. I don't think...
Shout out to Paul Hurst.
I don't think... Yes, Mr. Hurst, hello. I don't think Slowball's the greatest Knudsen fan.
I've always found Jonas as he can be reliable in big games, and then you can't seem to find him in the games that
it's strange, isn't it?
You know, the ones in between. And I mean, you take Norwich for example. Every time we play Norwich, he shows up.
He's fired up, isn't he?
It's really it's strange, but obviously you can understand the science behind it. You would be fired up for those kind of games.
Yeah.
But for me, he does struggle with the simple things. He really does, and it warranted him being dropped in the last game. To be honest.
Although I'm not sure switching Donatian to that side was...
No, definitely not.
I think was Kenlock injured?
Kenlock is injured. I was calling for Kenlock to be brought into the squad last week, and someone said Kenlock's injured. Well, I hadn't heard anything about him this season. I don't think he's even been given that. I think he's had one sub appearance. Yeah. To be honest, I think he should be starting, and we all know how good he is when he is playing. Yeah. He has played some, you know, pivotal games against Derby. Always popped into my mind. He played really well when we won away from home against them and at home against them. So.
I get the impression Hurst's rather careful about things like that. He probably thinks, yes, he can play a good game or two, but can you keep him in, you know, consistent? Will he be consistent enough? And that's, he often sort of intimates that, doesn't he, when you listen to him speaking. Yeah. I'll continue Slowball. So international break, and on Thursday night I'll be at AFC Flyde to watch, he lives up north, Slowball's in North, to watch England's under-20s, who Kieran Dyer is currently coaching, and with Chalabar hopefully in the starting lineup. Is it Chalabar or Shaloba? I've heard people say Shaloba as well. Okay,
it's Chalabar.
After
his brother.
Oh right, okay. Chalabar. Love it, Mr. Lumber. They should win, I think. The Italians are past.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Bad news.
Very funny, that one.
Yeah. You can take that as you heard it. Slowball. Bad news announced today: the West Brom home fixture is now live on Sky. That's on Friday night. Brought forward from the Saturday. I read that before we came on air.
That might be good for me, actually. To be honest, Saturday's a proven problem.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So that brings it forward to Friday.
We all know how rubbish we are on telly. God keep smiling. God bless Manu Tetis, or Thetis, depending on if you remember him.
Yes, I do know of him.
The poor old Blue Monday. We're going to have a live podcast, weren't they, on the Saturday? And of course, that's a bit of a bummer. They have to let us know what happens, Ben, with that. Thoughts on that?
I feel there's players that should or shouldn't be in the squad, should or shouldn't be given that chance.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of a loan watch this week, to be honest, and I had a look at Josh Emanuel and Luke Wolfenden, and I feel so that two of those positions that we do struggle to, batten down the hatches are our centre back and right back. Now, Donatian's been really good for us, but a lot of people would have argued that Josh Emanuel naturally would have fit into that position this season. So it's a bit, I think a lot of Town fans are a bit bitter about why he's left this summer. It could have been because of his pre-season. A lot of people have been saying that given his performances in pre-season, he was dropped from that opportunity to play in the first team, and I can understand that. As a manager, you come and you want to see players stand up and take their opportunity. Ken Lock, for me, is another one that I feel naturally should have progressed into the first team. The club have made it very aware that they want to push their youth forward. Yeah,
I think this might be a sore point between possibly the youth and coaches.
Exactly. So, to be honest, under Mick, sorry to keep bringing them up because I know a lot of people don't want to talk about him, but you can say the bloke brought in quite a few youngsters, whether he was told to or not, that's another thing. But a lot of players come through under Mick, and you look at that gem, Tyrone Mings as well, that kind of player. There was some good work there and good coaching that brought those players through, and Dizell's one of those players. Played on Saturday, played 80 minutes on Saturday, and
even then you get the impression Hurst was reticent to put him in, and then he comes in and he's
absolutely sublime. I mean, like you said, like that first pass he put through to Sears, that should have been in the back of the net.
Yeah.
But that's game time. Sears hasn't had much game time, and first game of the season he got an assist.
And that's like again we said it earlier. I mean, that is Sears' position, running on balls like that from Dizell.
We've all seen it. He can put the ball in the back of the net. And
it just seems Hurst is slightly reticent to play the kids. I mean, he's sent a hell of a lot out on loan.
Yeah.
And it is a shame, and I think there might be a bit of a friction there between
definitely
coaches at the academy level and so on.
I think there's a few wake-up calls with regards to players such as Tristan Nydam. Now, Nydam is a youngster. He's gone out on loan to St Johnstone. He's not there, Scottish Premier League side. Whether you rate that as high as the Championship or not, that's another question. But he's not been getting game time there.
No, he played the other day, didn't he?
Playing reserve football, and obviously, would he benefit more from playing reserve football down here?
Exactly.
I don't know, because a lot of our injured players have come back through that kind of division, and I think he was brought in too early, and he was suspect a few times last season. So I think if he's got to fight for a position at St Johnstone, then so be it. That's the kind of player you want to send out on loan, who you're not quite sure about. You want to give them a chance. That's their chance to go and take it.
Yeah.
But players like Wolfenden, for example, was absolutely taken to Swindon in League Two.
Yeah.
Season before, he's playing in the conference.
And Emmanuel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were pushing forward in the right direction. So we don't need to worry on that front. But it's where they fit into our current squad based on how what kind of players we have already. Yeah. So that's what I think really about on that situation, to be honest.
Yeah. And of course we have Falami, who's out in Australia now, isn't he, doing something silly there?
Well, I see a bit of Monty Patterson in that situation again, because they sent him, back to Australasia, getting back out there to play in his home country. But I don't think that was the right move for him, potentially. He had some good appearances last season. I think Reading, we won 4-0 against Reading last season.
Yeah.
He starred in that. And he had 3 or 4 appearances under Brian Cleave. And would have liked to see him pushing into the squad now. Based on the number of players we have got in that position, I feel like some of our youngsters aren't as strong as players like Falami, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should give him a chance if we can.
Indeed, indeed. A couple more emails. This is from iCal. iCal, that's my calendar. My calendar's talking to me. Do you think Bart will be sold in the window? Also, do you think that his value would have dropped as he's not in the team?
No.
No and no, or just
no and no. No and no. The argument about Bartosz Białkowski is a good one. If he had continued to play in the starting 11 and continued to play well, then yes, we would have sold him, I feel. Given his start to the season, I feel that...
So are you almost saying it's quite a good thing that he's been dropped?
Yes.
As far as...
For us?
As far as keeping him, yeah.
For us as Ipswich fans, he's come to probably what you could argue the twilight of his career. He played well last season. Absolutely unbelievable at Norwich away last year. The amount of stops he made. Yeah. And, you know, he has won Player of the Season for the last 3 years. But I picked up in one of my vlogs recently about the argument about Bartosz and how we, as a team, have relied on a goalkeeper to be our hero in every game.
Yeah, Player of the Season.
And that shows what kind of team we are.
Yeah.
And what we do lack in. And to be honest, those players that have been in and about Chambers, Goose, Knudsen in that era are all part of that defensive lineup. They are all as equals to blame. So Białkowski can't take all the plaudits, but this season I think it's a good thing that he's been dropped, because I think it may take away the pressure, but we don't know. He may have already been touted by someone else.
Or he may actually want to go. But, you know, you hear he's happy.
He signed that new contract, and you know what that means?
Fake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Adrian Woolley. Lots of people are saying we should replace John Walters with another experienced striker. Darren Bent has been mentioned.
No.
What are your thoughts?
No.
Leave it no again, and is that 2 no's again, or just one and
leave it where it was. Replace with experience. That's another thing. Can you find me a striker that does deliver and has experience at this level that isn't highly sought after? Because I don't think you can. Yeah. Darren Bent is he without a club now?
I think he left free agent, as they call it.
I think he's a free agent at the start of the season. He's fully into his punditry now. You can see that. I have had a few names bounce about today. I saw Robbie Keane today. That would be a brilliant signing. But to be honest, I think we need to look down the line of permanent. And you know, January's only round the corner now.
What makes you think we're going to sign someone in January? Where do you get all this from?
I don't. I've just got the feeling.
Yeah.
And I think we're building. We're not. You know, like you said, putting square pegs in round holes. We don't want to put a loanee in there when we could have a permanent.
But do you not think Walters was a slight panic buy? Well, you did say that.
100%.
So
and I've heard, and I said to you earlier, it was a Marcus Evans signing.
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that.
No.
I mean, obviously Marcus Evans knew him. And,
but obviously Paul Hurst had the final say. I mean, if John Walters flashes in front of you, you're going to, brilliant play. But we saw John Walters at his best when he was, with the club. He became what he did under us. We got him from Chester. He showed really good, really good attributes when he was with us, and he went on to do better things. But like I said, twilight of career, John Walters is struggling with injury, and if he does come back, I'll be surprised.
Leon Best, he's without a club apparently.
Under a different manager.
Under a bus, probably. What I was going to say, and also I think we had this discussion that Walters isn't the type of player you want, is it? He's never been an out-and-out goal scorer. This is what you want. You want on the end of all these little things, especially if you keep Tazelle playing. You want Marcus Stewart. There you go, Ben. One for you, Marcus Stewart. You want someone.
I try not to think about Marcus Stewart or Jordan Rhodes or any of those kinds of players that we've been associated with. But Daryl Murphy, for me, was the absolute iconic player that you need up front.
But the trouble is that would just entice more hoofball, wouldn't it?
It would.
Easy way out. And they did it to a certain extent once Walters came in.
Yeah, they did. And he said that we're not a hoof team, but
you went to Hull, didn't you? We were hoofing there.
Absolutely horrendous. I don't think I've seen a game that bad in my life. Yeah. But I did watch us against Huddersfield the year they got promoted, and that was really bad. But that topped it.
we've got less than 30 seconds, so if you want to just tell us how you think the season will pan out. Where are we going to end up? Are we going to end up with Paul Hurst still as manager?
Mid-table, Paul Hurst still manager, in my opinion. Yeah,
so?
Yeah, 100%. I believe in him.
I think hopefully he should be anyway. You've got to give him a chance.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Ash.
Thank you.
Or as we call him. Thanks for all your emails. Till next week. Have a great one. Bye bye.
Sit back and relax.